I think today, depending on the requests that you guys have done for quite some times, we have showed you a lot of good things about goat farming, but still, we also need to do what are the negatives or what are the challenges about goat farming in our country and different countries. So get your pen and I'll try to list out the risks and the negative part of goat farming. First and foremost, one of the risks that are in goat farming are the first 3 months of stocking. And that is the shipping fever. You know, we don't consider that being a serious issue in the goat farming. But the most risky time is stocking. Because you see all these animals, these are new entrants already imported in. But the risk we are on right now is almost 90% of losing them. Why? Because these are new animals that have not grown up in this country. They have grown up in South Africa. They have been in South Africa. South Africa, if it is not cold, if it's not too cold, it is too hot. That means even the parasites, even the infections are very minimal. Though there is some diseases that also attacks them. You get it? But this time, after bringing the animals, you have to make sure that you're managing those animals very well in the same management that they have been managing on the same feeds that they have been eating from the other end of the country. But the most risky thing is stocking, because you might stock animals and they all die. And then where the animals are coming from, they are not dying, but when they reach at your farm, they start reacting. What happens? If an animal is in one place, like the way you see these animals getting used to be in one place, they can manage diseases. It's the same story like you guys. When you don't move, when you're not stressed, you might not even find yourself getting sick. And some of you say that you are immune to all the diseases, which is not true. But the moment you shift to those animals, they start to get stress, and the stress causes the body immunity to lower. And in case of any opportunistic disease comes, it can hit it up. So one of the risks, one is mortality of the goats, which might be due to the infection found on ground or due to the infection that might be in an animal, which might lead to death due to stress, which stress causes the body immunity to lower. You get it? So one of the risks that we might say that is very common with goats is mortality at stocking, the shipping fever. You get it? And actually another risk, I will again say, the diseases. Like right now, some parts of the country here, PPR is very dominant. But I wish the government would take charge and say, we are giving out, let's say, 2 million or 20 million vaccines for PPR and pox or for the goats. Because right now, goat is a business. And one goat, which could even be a local, can kill a goat like that, which goes for over 3,000 plus US dollars. You get it? It might kill it. You get? So, the negative part of that, or the bad part of this business, stocking and those diseases that can kill those animals as a shipping fever, stress comes up to demobilize or to weakens the body of the animal. That is one of the risks. Then, some other risk or some other challenge is all about feeds. If you're not feeding your animals well, my dear people or my dear farmers, you might not benefit from this project. It's the worst project if it comes to the worst. You have the good genetics like the way you've seen that, but you do not have feeds. Don't expect results. This business is not worth risking, or it doesn't have a story. Being that we are dealing with life of the animals, you don't have to make any mistake. You do not have to have a sorry. Sorry doesn't work with this animal. The moment you lose it, you lose it. That's the bad part of this project. Then, two, the negative part of this project is also numbers. Because you might have good quality animals, like the way you see that, those animals, but you have very small number and you are in a distance. You get? How do you expect somebody to drive and come to pick one animal? You find that that person will charge you less money. He will give you less money instead of giving you the right amount of money, because he's looking at the distance he's going to take, the risks he's going to take to only pick one animal. So have a moderate number, at least 50 and above. Then 3, you need land. That is the negative part of this. You can't do this farming without land. So you need to first have the land, good genetics, and good quantity to enjoy the business of goat farming. You get it? So if somebody can't afford to have land, that's why I gave you more option of maybe hiring the land. You get it? And 3, the only we poor people like Hamis, we can only get land from a long distance. So a person who doesn't have a car, it might be challenging for that person to move a longer distance. And 3, it needs a lot of money, more so if you want to be on a standard. Because most of you people are doing business for goats, but you're doing it on a domestic basis, which is not commercial. And people who are doing it on domestic or not commercial, they spend a lot of money. How? Because if you're buying a vaccine and you only have these goats like the way you see them, you have to buy 100 doses. The rest you can discard. But you must buy in 100 doses. So I think those are some of the negatives. And also I think one other negatives, most of the people do not understand the process of managing these animals, and they think they are feeding like cows, because most of you are doing pak chong, are doing napier and other highly moist feeds, and you think these animals will utilize them and they look better, which is not the case. So we still need a lot of information. We still need to have the quantity, we need to have the quality, and then also means of transport. And mostly the negative part of these projects being that we are doing them from long distances, because that's where we can afford to buy land. If you want to buy land, let's say in Kampala, you can't afford, because 50 by 50 is over $1 billion, and you have to go further. If you have no car, it will be risky for you. And the transportation system in the areas where we do farming from it's really not good, because the roads are bad, the public transport is just on time. So those are some of the things that we definitely have as a negative in this business. I think I've tried to maybe give you some information about the negatives of this project. But for a market, it's not a negative, because everywhere you are, you even go and ask in the nearby place and ask how much do they buy goat's meat. So the market is not our problem. The market is distance, the capital to start with, the land and the feeds, even those diseases that are called layman's disease. If vaccinating an animal needs 500 shillings, and your animal is over 10 or 7 millions, and you lose it just because of that disease that you would vaccinate on 500 shillings, I call it a layman's disease. But it is a very good problem, a very big problem actually, in all the areas, because people don't know where to buy the vaccines. People don't know which vaccines to buy and in which quantity. So those are some of the mistakes or the negatives or the bad part of this project. Otherwise, the positives are more than the negatives, like over 90% are positive, and maybe 10% they are negatives. Guys, I think I need to maybe show you the beauty and the love of this animal. This guy is called a Jet Master, and he's a super stud animal, and he produced a lot of champions, and he's a high quality superbuck coming from the Karoo Livestock Export, and I think we definitely have it in this country. And the Dopa is also a super Dopa stud goat. Let me just wish you the best, guys, and see you when you see me. Bye.